how good is this bike to commute with? Can you use her every day? Well, let's find out.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that.
How you doing, family? So what's it like to daily this bike? Well, it is a bless. It is a lot of fun. There's lots of exciting moments, lots of scary moments too, but mostly it is very fun. It just adds a bit of magic to your day. Everywhere you go, you have this smile lever right here. Some people call it a throttle, but really is a smile lever. The more you pull it, the bigger the smile. But you gotta be careful with it. You don't want to turn your smile into cries, right? So I have been riding this bike every day for the past year. If you watched one of my last videos, I talk about how I have well over 10,000 miles on this bike. It might be closer to like 12,000 now at this point. But I've ridden this thing in snow, rain, and I just got back home like 2 days ago from a tour that I did, a 4-day tour on this bike. And on the first day, there was torrential rain. Strong, man. I mean, I had to stop and take a little rest under a bridge because the roads were starting to get flooded. But that's part of riding. So I'm gonna give you the perspective of someone who rides this bike every day just like you would ride a normal car. I mean, I really daily this bike for every activity, going to the supermarket, taking people out, dinners, whatever you can imagine, man. Whatever you do in your everyday life, I'm doing it, but with this bike instead of a car. And if you're enjoying the content, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, because I am going to be bringing you lots of content on this bike, and I want to get better and better. Definitely leave your comment and let me know of what kind of videos you want me to make. I have tons of ideas while I'm still here in this beautiful country. There's lots to show you, but let me know what you want to see. Now if you see down here, there's a little wrench symbol right over there. That means I gotta go and change the oil on my bike. So the service is due, and I'm gonna get it done this afternoon around 6 o'clock. I need this bike to be good for me, so I'm gonna take care of her. When you daily this bike, she's gonna make you smile very often. Very fun to ride this bike everywhere. There are some bad sides of it too. Like for instance, right now my temperature gauge here says that outside 10 in the morning it is 24 degrees Celsius, which is just about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Now it's kind of weird with this temperature gauge because when you're moving it goes down, but it is very humid out here. So 80 degrees in the West Coast is an absolute beautiful day. 80 degrees here is starting to get super hot. More than that, and it's very uncomfortable, especially with the helmet. And that's one of the things that, well, first of all, here you have to wear a helmet according to the law. It is illegal not to wear a helmet out here, so it's not like that's an option. And even if it was, I would still wear my helmet. And with the helmet, when it's super hot outside, you start to sweat inside your helmet and it becomes nasty. So you have to wash your helmet quite often, and I usually wash my helmet at night. So as soon as I get home, I put my helmet to wash, and then by the next morning it is dry. And to me that's also a non-negotiable, because you don't want to, you just took a fresh shower in the morning, you're going out to work, and you're gonna be smelling bad. Your hair is gonna be smelling bad because you didn't wash your helmet. And another tip I can give you guys is never put your gloves inside your helmet, because they will make your helmet smell even worse. Now, the other problem with the helmet is that you can fix your hair as much as you want, man. You're gonna have to keep a comb on you, on your bike, in your pocket, whatever, because as soon as you get to where you want to be, let's say you're going to dinner with your family or a date, yeah, you're gonna have to get there a little bit earlier. Ask the restaurant, can I use your restroom or something like that. Fix up your hair and look nice. That's what I do. Now, you may choose not to do all that, and you don't have to, right? But another tip I could give you if you haven't bought a helmet yet is to get a white helmet, because if the sun is out, you definitely want to have a white helmet, because even if you're moving, your body's cool, but your head is cooking. And one of the great benefits of riding a bike is that you can cut through traffic with great ease, and most of the time, like 90% of the time, you're gonna get to your destination much faster than a car. Install the bike, but I can't say I haven't been there. I've been there more times than I would care to admit for it. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. The worst is when you stall a bike and you have a passenger with you. Then it's like, oh my lord, I just look like a super rookie right now. But yeah, it happens to the best of us. And especially if you live somewhere where you can lane split, man, you're gonna be getting to your destination so much faster than if you were in a car. Like several minutes faster if it's a long distance commute. And one of the reasons why I believe that lane splitting is illegal in most states is because people just overdo it. And like, why would you go past these cars here at 50 miles per hour over the speed limit or something insane like that? And this is just a problem everywhere in the world. And even here where lane splitting is allowed on a scooter, I see these guys going super fast past cars, and they end up crashing all the time because you can't see if someone is making a left in front of you. Now there's another cool little bike right here. And another one, Honda. I think that's a Honda Rebel 500. How cool is that yellow bike? She's beautiful, and he has all the saddlebags on the side and in the back. I bet you that bike is comfortable and super fun on the twisties, and she looks big too. I don't know what kind of bike that is. Have you guys seen that before? I don't think I have, but that's certainly a bike that I would take up in the mountains. There's no doubt about that. There he goes. I like that bike, man. I really love that bike. I bet you she does good mileage too. Very nimble and light. And I have to be honest with you guys, just like that yellow bike there that we just saw, I bet you that bike is probably more convenient and just makes more sense in the city. There are lots of bikes who are going to be better than this Ninja 1000 SX 2 daily. On a long commute, I think that this bike does a phenomenal job. I cannot complain, but if you're using it just to go to the grocery shop, or your job is like 10 minutes, 15 minutes from your home, you might benefit from getting something a bit smaller and more nimble, because this bike is heavy. And one of the cons with daily in this bike, a big con, is finding a good parking for her here in Taiwan. It might not be the same in America, okay, but one thing is for sure. In America, you want to park your bike close to the entrance. Like, let's say you're going to the supermarket. I would want to be parking my bike close to the entrance where I can see it and where she's not going to be getting stolen. But one of the problems with that is she is so heavy that it's hard to maneuver her on parking lots, right? Like you have to have a certain amount of leg power, I'm gonna say, to really maneuver this bike on parking lots and not drop her in front of everyone and scratch up your brand new, beautiful, expensive machine, right? No one wants to do that. And if you're shopping for a bike too daily, you definitely want to make sure that you can flat foot her on both sides. And with this particular bike, if you can't flat foot her on both sides, you could get a lowering kit. It does affect how the bike handles. I can't really speak exactly on how it's gonna be affected. And you can also get a lowered seat, which may just be enough for you. And I would recommend that the lighter the better, because when you're parking that thing, you're gonna be so thankful that she's easy to maneuver. And there are reasons why this bike is very big. For touring, when you go up in the mountains, what's up, King Kong? For touring, when you it's a red King Kong, man. But again, when you're touring with this bike, she is a beauty. With the passenger, heavy bags, everything, man. She's just a smile maker. You're gonna be smiling everywhere, and your passenger is gonna feel confident too, because she's not hard to handle, especially when she's moving. If you get in a bike and you're commuting for an hour or so in the highway, man, you're gonna do just fine. If you don't plan on parking this bike all the time in tight spaces, she's gonna be fine. If you do plan on parking her in tight spaces, then again, you definitely want to make sure that it's a nice and slim bike. You can flat foot her, and the lighter the better. And certainly even better if she has some storage space. Storage space is a great concern when it comes to motorcycles, obviously. With this bike here in particular, you can get saddlebags for her. Kawasaki makes them. They're a bit expensive, but you can get aftermarket saddlebags, which make your life so much easier when you go grocery shopping. I also got this little tank pad here. For the longest time, I didn't have a tank bag. I just got this bag like a month or so ago, and this has made my life so much easier, because I usually have a lot of stuff that I carry with me at all times, like an extra battery for my phone, my wallet obviously, and other small tools that I like to have with me at all times. And I don't want to keep them in my pocket, so now I keep them in here, and it made a huge difference. But I was scared that if I got a bag like this, it might fall off as I'm riding. But I had some great experiences with this. I just went touring with this bike for about 5 days with a passenger, and this bag was full. She actually expands, and she was heavy, and I was a bit worried that she might fall off or whatever, so I was constantly paying attention to how she was moving and whatnot. But she did great, not a problem, super easy to remove, to take in and out. I'm actually gonna stop right here, let this car behind me go. He's going a bit fast, but I also want to show you how easy it is to use this bag. You just lift up right here, just like that, put your gas, and she just straps in like that. So you can actually buy this same bag here. I'm not paid by them. I don't even know what brand this is, but you can probably get the same bag for basically any bike out there. I can see myself using this if I had a R1, but definitely do your own research when it comes to buying this kind of a bag, because you don't want her to fall in your handlebar here and cause you to lose control, or you don't want her to fall off your bike when you're riding in the mountain and lose all your stuff on a cliff, or even worse, hit the person behind you. So definitely do your own research before you shop for the aftermarket bags. But there are lots and lots of options available, If you are going to ride alone, you can get a bag that goes on top of your passenger seat. And these bags are awesome when you're riding alone. They have plenty of space for you to go camping with for several days. Now this bike has a ton of technology that will help you to commute on her, but some of this technology isn't very useful if you're riding in the city all the time. Like the cruise control here. The cruise control I'm never gonna use in the city environment. Let me let this car go right here because we are going slowly. I don't like to hold up the traffic. Some people go super slow and they want to hold everybody else behind them. You know, this guy has stuff to do, man. So let him go. But and if you're commuting for long distances, then all these technologies can certainly help you. For instance, this bike comes with the quick shifter, but the quick shifter is less than ideal for city conditions. If you're riding on the highway, the quick shifter works pretty well, especially if you have to pass a big truck or if you have to pass a car that's around you and you want to drop a gear and disappear. She's gonna do that very well, but at low RPMs, it is not a automatic transmission by any means. But hey man, like like I was saying, we even got scooters that are going faster than me out here, and that's okay. I'm just enjoying my day. It's a beautiful day out here. Look at all these beautiful trees. The sun is not cooking me inside my helmet yet, which is nice. But another thing too when you daily this bike is that she is a conversation starter everywhere you go. You know, a lot of people who don't know about bikes, they see this sporty looking bike carrying these big heavy saddlebags and they're very curious. They want to know what the heck is that thing. And when you're going to the supermarket like that, or you're stopping at gas stations all the time, people approach you and they want to talk with you about your bike. And she certainly does attract a lot of attention. And just the sound of the engine alone makes riding this bike more fun than the car to me. And guys, one of the things that I absolutely have to recommend you do if you get a heavy bike, or this bike in particular, is to practice rolling up hills like the one that I'm about to come up on right here. Well, I'm going down this hill, but sometimes I come up this hill. It's not my first time here. And you have to practice going up these hills because there's a red light right up this hill here, and sometimes you're gonna be stuck with your bike like this, man, and a super inclined. And if you don't know how to operate that clutch in that sort of environment, in that sort of an uphill, you might be in trouble. And it's much harder when you have a passenger in the back. But you can imagine yourself at like Pikes Peak, Colorado, and there's a traffic jam for whatever reason up there where they do the brake checks, and you gotta go up hills on that, man. If you're not very familiar with your bike and you just got this super heavy bike, you might be in trouble. So practice makes perfect, but there's no such thing as perfection, so we just gotta keep practicing, and especially if it's a new bike for you. And I have to thank you all for the amazing comments and the feedback, the inputs that you guys leave in the comments. They certainly motivate me to continue to bring you better content. It took me a week to bring you this video. Look at that dog. It took me a week to bring you this video because I was out touring on the bike. I really hope that you subscribe and watch my journey and the progress. I'm gonna continue to bring you tons and tons. Oh, look, this dude coming in hot behind me, man. Coming in hot. Gotta be careful, man. You gotta watch this mirror right here because dudes will come in like that, and if you're not careful, something might happen. Doesn't matter who's right or wrong. What I care about is going back home with all my limbs and alive and well and having a good time, a beautiful day. And I know that a lot of you guys have more experience than me in terms of years riding and in terms of miles ridden. But I still gotta tell you guys that, man, stay alert. And there's Red King Kong again. Ha! What up, Kong? And another pro that this bike has is these mirrors. I know that I've said this on different videos, but I really like these mirrors right here because, yeah, they're big and wide. Some people might not like the looks of them. I believe the bike would look better without them for sure, but I would never remove them because they just make my life so much easier. I cannot imagine riding this bike without these mirrors right here, man, because cars are coming up behind me all the time at full force, full speed, and I gotta be aware of what the heck is going on behind me from time to time, right? You gotta be very aware of your surroundings out here, man. And if you're crazy enough to be thinking about replacing your car with a bike, the maintenance can be a bit expensive depending on the bike that you have. Sometimes it is just as expensive as a car. It's all gonna depend, but it isn't much cheaper, that's for sure. Some bikes will save you on gas, but not all of them. This one right here, for instance, is not one of them. Now let's jump on the highway, which is where this bike really likes to be. I hope that the wind is not too bad out here. This is where you can plug in that cruise control and you can hold your hand right here. I try not to take my hand off the handlebar all that often. I hear that I do too often on my videos, but I try not to take off both hands from the handlebar because you gotta have control over your bike. And I love to ride this bike on the highway. Just feel the wind hitting me. Super fun. Pulling the throttle in a little bit. She's gonna go, boy. She's gonna go. It's absolutely crazy. Drop a gear. That quick shifter works very well, again, above like 5,000 RPM, I would say. And it doesn't take much for her to get to speed limit. And it's not gonna take much for her to get to speed limit. I'm at 60 and just third gear, just like that. 78, like 20 kilometers per hour, 10 miles per hour, or whatever. Fast, man. And I have to be completely honest, like I was saying. If you're shopping for a bike and you're not really gonna be on the highway all the time, you might as well get something smaller, something lighter, because long term it's gonna be making a lot more sense to you. And I think that the best bike to get is the bike that you're gonna be using. Does that make sense? Because the more you go out on your bike, the more practice you're gonna be getting. And I remember the first time I opened the throttle on this bike, and she was in rain mode, which means only 70% of its power. And I was just so amazed by the acceleration. And even to this day, guys, I've done a lot on this bike. She still amazes me. It's absolutely incredible. And if you have made it this far, thank you for watching the channel. Thank you for being a part of the growth of this channel. I really appreciate your time. And I hope that I can continue to bring better and better content for you out here. Stay healthy, ride safe, and I'll see you next time, brother.